Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Krystal, and this is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown podcast. Once again, we're not on location, except we're on the location in my living room. Over speakerphone, I have the wonderful podcasters from Easy Mojo. I've got Daniel, Brian, and Jeff. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Greetings.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And as one of you said earlier, as I was clearing my throat to exercise my demons, so I might still do that during the interview. I don't know yet, but we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully they've all been expelled.
We'll keep them on their toes. Yeah.
Sounds good. And now to give people just a little bit of a background, Daniel, I did an interview with you. You and your wife, Krystal, play in the Queen City Band, or also known as the Krystal Peterson and the Queen City Band. You're the drummer for her band. You guys met several years ago now, and then you kind of became her drummer and then her husband. And it sounds like you guys have a few more projects in the works. Can we touch on those really quick before we jump in?
Oh, yeah. Krystal's actually, we kind of got a new lineup going. It's the music's going in a different direction, but it's really hot, really cool. We're actually working on some new music now. Working on a new record. It's going to be out hopefully by the end of the year, maybe early next year, and a lot of exciting stuff. So yeah, it's been good.
Excellent. And I follow you guys on Twitter as well. And Instagram, and I saw that you guys had some new merch, kind of teasing some stickers and stuff like that. So I'm excited for the new album. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. For those who don't really know, Krystal Peterson was Crystal Harris. She was on the Disney Channel, and one hit was Supergirl. I rocked out to it back in the day. I bet a lot of people did. And then she released a jazz record with you and the Queen City Band. So now I'm intrigued. What new direction are you taking it in? Are you allowed to say?
Well, yeah, I would say it's more along the jazz, R&B, hip hop vibe.
Ooh.
We're mixing a lot of acoustic instruments and electric instruments and samples and things like that. And actually, the engineer for the podcast, Jeff, is also taking a role as the producer for a lot of the tracks that we're working on now. So, we're really excited. It's going to be very, very vocal heavy, and kind of featuring what Krystal does, and it's going to be some far out stuff. So,
all right.
Be sure to keep an eye out.
Yeah, very cool. And now that will be out on CD and iTunes, Amazon, all those places.
Oh yeah, as we release stuff, it's gonna be everywhere you can get music these days. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, Daniel, thank you so much. So Jeff, question for you: what does a producer actually do in this circumstance? So you're the engineer for the podcast. I know you and I had Facebooked back and forth a little bit. So what's your role as producer in this other endeavor?
So I've been kind of coming up with some loops and beats and stuff, and just writing, and presenting Krystal and Daniel with a bunch of tracks. And I came in with like 18 at one point, and she was like, "I like about 12 of these." So
all right,
they're really good. Yeah, so just kind of doing that, and I don't know, like producing the beats, I guess.
Very cool. So you don't have any stake in the cash side of things yet, or has that yet to come?
We'll see about that. We're getting there.
Yeah, all right. Excellent.
We gotta finish it first.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck with that, guys. It sounds really exciting. Daniel, I love your guys' work with Krystal and the band and all your other endeavors that you've got going on. I've been a longtime fan and a huge follower of your work. So I'm very excited to see what you guys have got in store. And now let's jump right into it. The whole reason why we're here, podcasting. I got into podcasting a little over a year ago now. I just decided to take my radio performances and kind of launch it into the internet, the ethers of the internet, I guess you could say. And now it's kind of launched itself into what's called podcasting. How did you guys get involved? But first off, let's go with how did you guys meet?
Brian here. The first time I met Jeff many years ago in a band called W Jamba, and that was out of Newport, Kentucky, and still is to this day. And we're the Newport Secret Six now. We are the Newport Secret Six now. Yes, it's a whole another story in there. But Daniel answered a Craigslist ad to become we were looking for a new drummer, and he answered the call and showed up and knew all the songs, and that was the beginning of our musical relationship. We're still going to this day. You can still find Newport Secret Six on all platforms. Yeah, give a plug for that. Probably, I don't know, 2-ish years ago, Daniel, we had a meeting, and I had it in my head that podcast would be cool because I've been on one, a week prior for another work thing, and that conversation has carried us forward through many different iterations. Jeff came on board as the engineer. Man, when it became clear that Daniel and I could talk in circles over and over for about a year before somebody kicked us in the butt to actually begin, we didn't even know. We're like, how does sound get into the computer and out of it? So
you're musicians. Come on.
Well, and I mean that's interesting, Krystal, because I met Brian and Jeff in the reggae band, like Brian was saying, but also Brian's a saxophone player, and he was the saxophone on the record that Krystal did with the Queen City Band.
Oh,
and
wonderful!
We still drag him out from time to time at certain gigs around town. So music really brought us together, I think. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So it kind of sounds like you all met via the Queen City Band, and then sounds like somebody kicked someone in the butt to get you guys launched and started.
Jeff was definitely like, "Are we doing this or what?"
Good for you, Jeff.
Because we had no idea what we were doing. We just knew we wanted to do a podcast. We didn't know much more than that.
Okay.
And really, I credit Jeff to getting me into podcasts, honestly, because we talked about it, but I had very little experience listening, and he recommended a few. And it's I pretty much just listen to podcasts now.
Excellent.
So thanks, Jeff. No problem. Yeah.
Wonderful. And so what? I was trying to snoop around your Facebook page a little bit here, and it's kind of open-ended, actually. So what does your podcast focus on? I mean, are you kind of open to whatever the universe throws your way? Are you really more musical focused?
We decided that the tagline, everybody's got to have a tagline, is that it's the Easy Mojo podcast, inspiring people and what inspires them.
Okay.
And because we knew so many people in the Cincinnati region, we wanted to, focus on that at first, and that's still a big focus, but we're definitely open to anybody, anywhere. And we, being musicians, we know a lot of musicians, it has been somewhat musician heavy, but we've had educators on there. We've had a Swabian pretzel maker who has his own shop, lawyers, artists, tattoo artists, comic books,
Wow.
So it's really, creative people that are living their dream of being creative and hearing their story about their struggles and highs and lows, and not exactly advice, but just words of encouragement and honesty for anybody that's interested.
Platform do you guys launch off from?
So I loaded once I had the podcast and everything. I basically just loaded it on our Squarespace page on easymojobaby.com, and that sends it out to iTunes and Google and Stitcher, Spotify, all the places. And it's super easy.
Yeah, very cool. And now, I guess let's kind of jump into that a little bit here. Now, I know for my use, SoundCloud just works, but now you guys use Squarespace.
Yeah.
Is it just podcast focused? Do you have other things on your Squarespace page?
We've got the Easy Mojo brand, which I guess Daniel should actually be talking about this, but Easy Mojo also as a brand, it also covers any of the music we're doing with Krystal or some other artists that we've got. Daniel and I we've got the
start working on it, trying to get out there. So Easy Mojo is kind of a production house, essentially. So we've got, it's mainly podcast focused right now, but we've got all that stuff on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Squarespace it's been it's been a great one-stop shop for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Jeff was saying, we do all this different stuff, and we found with Squarespace, it's awesome. You go on, you buy a certain package that kind of meets your needs for whatever website you want to design.
Mm-hmm.
And, so for podcasting and media release, you can have an online store. Just about anything you want to do is available through them. We love Squarespace.
Yeah, I don't want that to sound like a Squarespace ad, but but it really needs to use it. Like, I would recommend it to anyone who wants to get a website for cheap, and
it's pretty affordable.
They make it very easy to use.
I mean, there's so many different platforms out there. I mean, there's a independent artist out there. Cher Strawberry is her name, and she just uses Instagram. That's it. And I mean, oh yeah. I mean, just platforms and social media now is just this massive network of, you can like somebody's page, and then that links you to 10 others that somebody else liked. So it's cool that the internet is out there.
There's a lot available for the artist, right now. Really, if you look at it, I mean, to be an independent artist right now is kind of the golden age, really, because you can take promotion into your own hands. You can take the website design and all the podcasting. You can get your art on many different platforms instantly all over the world. I mean, it's crazy. In a good way, it's crazy.
And now, Jeff, when we were Facebooking back and forth earlier, I had asked you what kind of equipment you guys used, but then you told me you unleashed the beast and just said, yeah, we use a Zoom recorder.
It's not like the Zoom, honestly, like, I mean, it's so easy to use, but like, it's such a nice little portable thing. Like, the sound that we got out of it, I mean, we use Shure 58 microphones and a Zoom H6 recorder, and I think it sounds pretty good. Like, and we definitely don't have some big padded studio, but that's next step.
Well, I mean, we are building the bigger stuff you might have seen on social media, like studio wise, is that's what we use for recording records and stuff right now in music. But Jeff's right. Like for podcasting, the Zoom is where it's at, man.
Excellent.
I mean, you feel like mixing's pretty easy on it? Oh yeah. What'd you say?
Let's talk about the name, Easy Mojo Podcast. How did you come up with that name?
This is like your life ethos. and then it's with.
I don't know. I mean, the whole concept kind of comes from, I've been an independent musician for 15 years now. Grew up playing all my life, really. Whenever you pursue something and it's, kind of consumes you, and it's all you think about, and it's all you want to do. And I reached a point in my life for several years where I was just trying so hard, to be whatever it was I was trying to be, or get that next gig. I'm a drummer, so anything I could do to get that next gig, get that next opportunity, and it was just a struggle. And I reached a point where I was exhausted by it, honestly, but I still loved it, right? And I wanted to pursue an artistic life and be an independent artist. There was a quote by Victor Wooten, who Krystal toured with for several years, and we've come to know him, and he's an incredible musician, plays bass in Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, and then also has his own career, and he's incredible. And I'm going to paraphrase, but basically, it was a quote about learning, musical techniques and things like that, and what the quote came down to was try easier. And it doesn't mean that you don't try, but when you do try, bring a sense of ease to it. Don't try to just exert everything, squeeze everything out. You know what I mean? And that just kind of like rang in my head for like weeks after I heard him say that. And so the whole idea for Easy Mojo, sorry for the long-winded answer, but
no, you're fine.
It was just like, I want to do this lifestyle. I want to play music. I want to do all these creative things with my friends, and the whole idea about Easy Mojo as a company is to do creative endeavors and promote the different artists that are involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And why not try to do that with a sense of ease, with a sense, an approach of joy,
right.
instead of like, oh, I got to get this gig, or oh, I didn't do this, or oh shit, this sounds like whatever. You know what I mean? Like, why not just enjoy yourself? And of course, work hard and apply yourself. All that stuff is necessary, but bring a sense of ease to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really where the idea for the company came, was whatever we do, music, podcasts, merchandising, whatever it is, if we're not having fun and enjoying ourselves, then what's the point,
Right.
And I think
right.
everybody deserves that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I hope it's an idea that people steal from me, because I kind of stole it.
Well, what is that quote? Good art is not borrowed, it's stolen.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but no, Danielle, I couldn't agree more. I am, especially with my podcasts, I want it to be a conversation. So no, I agree. There needs to be a sense of ease with things, because if you try to rush it, it shows. So what do you guys have in the works? I know, from kind of following you guys on Instagram and Facebook and things like that, looks like you're building a studio, or did you guys just finish?
Oh, we're still building the studio now. Yeah, I mean, it's functional, but we're still, it's always something, So we're always kind of tweaking what we're doing and trying to make the room sound a little better and things like that. We might expand into some video stuff, maybe just musically. I don't know if we'll film the podcast. Maybe. I don't. Maybe. But yeah, Daniel's a handsome man. The world should see his face. Well, no. No, but yeah, I don't know. We might get into some audiovisual stuff down there. We're trying to just create, a creative space now.
Yeah.
I want to start doing live episodes, taking the podcast. Maybe we know on the road, being in bands and stuff, like we know a lot of promoters and venues and stuff, and that's kind of my next thing on the horizon is taking this to be some kind of live show occasionally. Not all the time, but.
Very cool. Now I'm really excited for the future for you guys. What kind of format would it be on the road? I mean, would it be kind of like talking to other musicians? Would it be talking to venue managers? All of the above? I mean, what are your thoughts? Granted, I understand it's just the baby stage right now.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing that we've talked about that too. Like, we've also had the idea of having musicians and almost doing like a ripping off the VH1 storytellers kind of thing,
Okay.
Have someone like play a couple songs, talk about the song, and do like an interview that way, I don't know.
Bring MTV Unplugged back, please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There you go. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah. MTV has gotten so far away from music now. It's,
yeah. Sorry.
I'm so glad all of you agree.
Yeah.
Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. So what does Easy Mojo have in the works? What do you guys have in the future plans? Anything super spectacular? Anything you can talk about now?
So we have, we're always looking for new artists to have on the show, new creative folks. I feel that we always want to keep our focus near and dear to Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky.
Okay.
Recently we had a gentleman on who was promoting this Kentucky-sized bourbon festival, so kind of giving the opportunity to have a platform for people that want to highlight the cool stuff they're doing in the area. But like Jeff said, I mean, as far as taking the show on the road and doing live events and things of that nature, just being able to expand our reach from just this city to a more regional kind of presence, because there's cool things happening everywhere, right? I mean, there's cool stuff happening here, there's cool stuff happening in your city. Forming a network, I mean, something we were able to really accomplish in Newport Secret 6 and Queen City Band when we go on the road and meet new folks, is that there really is a creative streak and creative communities in every town. So being able to get people to see each other for who they are and really connect. Like doing this, I mean, we really appreciate this opportunity to talk with you.
Oh, of course.
And expand that circle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
right,
that's kind of what we have in mind. Yeah.
So it sounds like almost kind of like building a community, almost like an online community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful. So
yeah, and we'll have some more like, we got some plans for some merchandise stuff, maybe some clothing and things to come out with the branding side of Easy Mojo, and Krystal's got a record that's going to be dropping as soon as we can get it available.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going back to the website and the Facebook and the Twitter and all the stuff.
Yes, excellent. Guys, let's jump into branding real quick. And now branding is something that I've recently learned. As it sits right now, I work at a car dealership for my day job. Yay, day jobs. I'm not an artist full time. I'm normal like everyone else.
I have a day job, but we all do.
Excellent. I'm not the only one. So anyway, branding is something that I've recently made myself more familiar with, and 9 o'clock meltdown, the stuff that I do, it's about being in the forefront, being there, having that awareness. But I mean, there's so many different things that go into it, and I could go on and on and on. But I guess what brought you guys into kind of more the branding side of things, the t-shirts, buttons, things like that? Is that just for something that somebody can take home with them? Are you hoping to sell these on the side? What are you looking in this whole branding?
Well, yeah, I mean, getting money is always good, right? Like, yeah. But that's not the main motivation. I mean, mainly it's, whatever we can do to get our name out there, to get Krystal's name out there, anything that we're involved in. You just want to kind of create some kind of level of awareness among people, and I like a good flat bill and a good hoodie and stickers and buttons and stuff, and so it's like, you got to make that stuff happen for yourself, and some of our merch we sell, a lot of it we give away usually, but it's just just trying to get us out there in people's minds,
Right.
And it's another great way to connect with local community goes. I mean, the original logo for Easy Mojo was created by someone that we had on our podcast really early on, a gentleman named Brian Lovell, who's a really talented guy, has his own tattoo shop called Illuminat Tattoo in a town called Ludlow, Kentucky, which is near and dear to our hearts. And just being able to promote his work and kind of draw the circle closer and all those sorts of things. A real joy to work with him and all the other folks that are going to be on the horizon. A few other things that are coming up and new collaborations that, again, just kind of build that community.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely, yeah. And thanks for bringing that up, man, because that reminded me, one thing I wanted to say in terms of the branding and all that stuff is, it came like an organic thing where we needed a logo for the podcast, we needed a logo for the company, a logo for Krystal, we needed all this design work, and wouldn't you know it, nobody in this whole thing can draw. Shit, right? So I was like, we're all musicians, but let's reach outside. And Brian brought it up, our friends that do different design work. Sarah Swagger, Instagram handle. She did Krystal's latest logo, which is killer. It's our latest T-shirt logo, sticker logo for Krystal. So it's again, it comes back to, I can't do a certain thing, so why don't I reach out to people that I know that are doing killer work and collaborate and also promote them.
Right. Very cool. And that's kind of like the artist collaborative. I mean, you guys got it down there. I've got it up here. I mean, there are artists that I go to for tattoos, and there are artists that I go to for now you got me thinking that maybe I need a logo too. So I'm rolling in my head as you're talking, like, who could I ask for that? And like, I've already got 5 people in my back pocket. But
perfect.
yeah, it's that artist kind of collaborative and that sharing and that it's almost a if I scratch your back, you scratch mine later on type deal.
Yep. It can be that for sure. Right.
I mean, I would encourage you to do so because it also, like, for you, it like kind of solidifies things for you as well. You know what I mean? It's a good feeling to have a dope artist come up with some dope logo, for what you're doing. I mean, it's a good step, I would encourage anybody that's doing anything to get some artwork, get some logos going, man.
Very cool, very cool. Thank you very much. Thank you for that encouragement. And now, easy Mojo fellas, can you give me a taste into kind of your interview style?
We really just started out with introductions, much like we did at the beginning of this podcast, and then turn it over to the guest to briefly ask, where they are coming from, and some people start from birth and start talking about that. And some just want to glaze over that and just get into what they're doing now. So giving people the freedom to give a little backstory to people that are listening, but also really have a stage to talk about their projects and really what they want to promote. That can come in a lot of different forms. I remember our first guest, Billy Rock McCarthy. You should look him up. He's a pretty amazing guy. I asked him, like, hey, this is Easy Mojo Podcast. Welcome, first episode. This is Brian, this is Daniel, and this is Billy. And Billy just started talking. And we kind of just kept up. Great, yeah. He was the perfect first guest. Seriously, we were very, very lucky with Billy. Like, I mean, he just kind of carried us. Pretty much.
Yeah, my very first radio interview I had done with David Rogers. He is a jazz musician, and he was, what was it? He was stopping through the UWS campus at the time when I was going to college there, and bless his soul, I kept him there for 2.5 hours.
Nice.
I am not kidding.
You're going real deep.
Oh, yeah. Whew.
Seriously, yeah.
And now these days I can't even listen to it. I mean, there's so many pauses, so many stutters on my end. He was great. He was freaking phenomenal. I mean, that guy's awesome. But yeah, I didn't really have the skill set that I do now.
Sure, yeah.
So
it comes with, practice makes perfect.
Exactly. I've also heard it say that practice makes talent as well.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Talent comes with just diligence and practice.
There you go.
I mean, are there some people that are born with better vocals than others? Sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's some people that can draw a straight line. I can't draw a straight line to save my life. Still don't know how I passed art class over here, but, I apparently did. I digress. But, no, very cool, guys. Very cool. Thank you. Can you tell me about who's coming up in your podcasts, or is it still kind of hush-hush for now?
We've got, Hannah Ray Massey is coming up next, a local musician here, kind of a traveling musician, educator. She does a puppet party for children. She's an amazing woman, doing some really wild stuff, like really good stuff for her community, also in Ludlow. And then
Adam Stone is a local, he's kind of the jack of all trades and master of all trades.
Yeah.
Band organizer and musician, drummer, songwriter, business owner, etc. And his main thing right now is his voice acting and voiceover work. So he'll be talking to us. Coincides very well with the Halloween event that he puts on every year at a local venue called the Northside Tavern.
Okay.
And after that, it's kind of crazy that it's taken this long to actually get her on the podcast. But we're going to have Krystal Peterson.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. I'll have to listen in because, and Daniel, I think I said this when I interviewed the two of you that I was always curious at what happened to the wonderful Krystal Harris because she was there, she burned bright, and then whoop, she was kind of gone. But no, she actually wrote it really elegantly and very very well on her website. Just kind of explaining it in a nutshell that she got tired of the industry and it was the same damn thing night after night and time after time and go over here, you have to wear this and you have to sing this song and there was no organicness to it anymore. And one of the things that really stuck with me, Daniel, is that's how she said she met you. She saw you drumming and she said it was the most beautiful thing ever. So I was like, all right. Excellent.
It still doesn't even make sense to me, honestly. But yeah. We're looking forward to her podcast.
Yeah.
She's my wife, but she's also one of the most bravest people I've ever met. And one of the most talented people I've ever met. And I can't wait to actually listen to podcasts with my wife. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It will be good. It might just be Brian and Krystal. Brian and Krystal. We haven't decided on that yet, but it might be a two-parter though. For real. It might be a two-parter. We shall see. But
all right.
Just want to say thank you again. Really appreciate the chance to talk to you about what we do, and it's interesting to have the tables turned after a fashion and being interviewed instead of doing the interviewing. So we appreciate again this practice really.
Oh.
I'll let Daniel do all our plugs with the website and stuff. But
yes,
anybody
please
listen to this, check us out. Look for all the fun stuff that's coming up.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. And now, Easy Mojo fellas, if somebody's interested in being on your podcast, maybe checking out your podcast, maybe buying some merch, whatever else you guys got going on, how can they do that?
They could either check us out on Facebook and give us a like and then send us a message. Also, if they would like to go to easymojobaby.com, you can find all of our contacts information there. Part of the motivation for the podcast, motivators for us to do this podcast is to talk to people that are doing really cool stuff and all these great things, but we also get to hear a lot about not just their struggle, but their early beginnings and the reasons why they do it and all this stuff. And I think that conversation is really important because a lot of times we see the final product,
right?
We see the business, and we see it thriving, or we see the record sales, and we think, oh man, how do you get to that place? And one of the things we want to accomplish with this podcast is to, inspire people, but also maybe give them a shot in the arm, because every single guest we've had, they're all incredible, which is crazy to me. I mean, every single one is just awesome. But they've all had that time where they had to just step off it was hard. We all start at the same place, man, We all start at zero with our ideas. And it's okay to struggle. It's okay to work hard. It's okay to, make mistakes and figure your shit out along the way,
I love it. Thank you. I love it. Wise words. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day. Brian, I heard that you were stuck in traffic, so thank you for making it and making it in one piece. Thank you guys so much. Daniel, thank you so much for setting it up. Jeff, thank you so much for being in communication with me throughout this whole week process and everything like that. Daniel, Brian, Jeff of Easy Mojo Podcast and easymojobaby.com. Did I get that right?
Got it.
All right, excellent. And then I look forward to seeing what you guys have in store. I know all you guys are also working on a record as well, so we'll look forward to hearing that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Have a great night, you guys.